I'm Gabby Pearson, and today we'll be analyzing cognitive dissonance theory, or CDT. In this presentation, I will describe what cognitive dissonance theory is, who the author of the theory was, and the approach used. I will also evaluate it using the 7 theory criteria. We'll discuss where the theory is today and any changes, additions, or discoveries that have been made since 2014. We'll talk about ways that the theory can be improved upon, and I'll conclude by sharing what I've learned about communication in my research. Cognitive dissonance theory was created in 1957 by Leon Festinger, an American social psychologist. He determined that cognitive dissonance is the feeling people have when they find themselves doing things that don't fit with what they know, or having opinions that do not fit with other opinions they hold. These feelings cause discomfort, which leads people to make changes, whether that be change of behavior or change of attitude. The approach this theory takes is an empirical approach because the intent is to predict others' attitudes and behaviors in response to feelings of cognitive dissonance. If we evaluate the theory using the 7 theory criteria, we find that CDT has a very vast scope. The concept of cognitive dissonance can be applied to many situations, including that of politics, social media use, and virtual communities. CDT is also very heuristic because, according to Stephen Littlejohn and Karen Foss, it has been the framework for over 1,000 research studies, most of which have supported the theory. As far as the theory's weaknesses, testability and utility are a concern for CDT, since, according to Wickland and Brehm, the concept of choice is missing in the theory. If someone doesn't have a choice in the matter, then they will not be motivated to make any changes, even if the person experiences dissonance from opposing cognitions. Other discrepancies include the lack of research done on social groups and individuals' different tolerance levels of dissonance. 2 other weaknesses that have been mentioned are 1, the fact that many critics believe cognitive dissonance is actually just impression management at play, and 2, that it is very difficult to predict what people will actually do when they experience dissonance. No one can quite predict if someone will react attitudinally or behaviorally. Today, the theory has been researched in many different fields and looked at through different subjects. A few new concepts that have developed are those of vicarious cognitive dissonance, the notion created by Cooper and Hogg that says motivation to reduce dissonance can emanate from the behavior of other people, particularly those who share a common group membership. Also, an application to problematic social media use has been made by assessing what feelings of guilt can do in regards to stopping problematic social media use or social media addictions. In terms of predicting how people reduce cognitive dissonance, new categories have been made in order to specify these strategies. Those new categories include attitude change, distraction and forgetting, trivialization and self-affirmation, denial of responsibility, adding consonant cognitions, changing behavior, and act rationalization. Some improvements that could be made to CDT are illustrated in many of the weaknesses we talked about before. I think more studies should be done on social groups and that individuals' tolerance for dissonance should be considered, along with the concept of choice in the matter. Something else that I think could be improved upon is understanding the distinction between self-concept or impression management and cognitive dissonance. And I also believe that more research needs to take place in regards to predicting how people will act in a dissonance situation. After researching cognitive dissonance theory, I learned that it covers a much broader field of studies than I could have possibly imagined. It has implications for many topics I'm interested in learning more about, and has piqued my interest in discovering ways to use CDT in my daily life. I have also grown much more aware of how often cognitive dissonance occurs in my life and in the lives of those around me. I think about it very often and ponder on how it may be influencing my thoughts and behaviors and the attitudes of others as well.